discuss the pending indictment and also, again, those 3 additional charges from special counsel Jack Smith in the documents case last week.
Yeah, and to kind of put this in context, since we don't have the report, we don't know what was said at this point because it was behind closed doors. We know that he's supposed to connect some dots as far as phone calls that were made and that Joe Biden, even as vice president, was aware, even though he's claimed he wasn't, was indeed aware of what was going on with his son. So let's talk to former FBI agent Thomas Baker and criminal defense attorney. Who else do we have? I'm sorry?
We have Ameer Benno with us as well.
Ameer?
Yes.
Ameer Benno. Ameer, give us your feel for what will come out of this.
Good afternoon. You're talking about the Devon Archer testimony?
Absolutely. Yes. Behind closed doors, we all wish we could be a fly on the wall.
Right. So it's a little unclear, right? Because it was sealed. And so we have Dan Goldman saying one thing, saying, hey, well, he had the phone on speakerphone when Hunter Biden was talking on 20 different occasions over a decade to his father. And they were chatting about this and that. And maybe business came up, but it wasn't really about business. And then you have people like Jim Jordan and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who have a very different version of what happened, and that the conversations, in fact, did involve discussions about Hunter Biden's business dealings, which, remember, Joe Biden has expressly disclaimed having discussed with his son. So it's a little unclear as to what exactly the testimony was, but further investigation is going to be necessary here. Obviously, Devon Archer was there pursuant to subpoena. If this committee determines that they need to take more testimony or they need to subpoena others, I'm sure they will. But until we really get a sense as to what the testimony is, we're going to have 2 very different versions of what Devon Archer said this afternoon.
All right, Doug, your thoughts.
Let's bring in Doug Collins, and former congressman, and get a feel for what do you think the significance is going on today? You know a little about behind closed doors testimony. Yes. How is that different than what we see when they're actually televised?
Well, it's more of what, for lawyers and all, it's more of a deposition style, what you look at. Much more, you'd have, it's not the 5-minute question rule. It's not just, each going to each member. They'll be set aside. I think they're good, probably, if they do this like we've done before, is an hour for each, hour for the majority, hour for the minority as they go through this.
Why, by the way, is he not under oath?
That's the question I was getting ready to get into, is why. I would have to say there was some kind of an agreement struck between him and his attorneys to say this wouldn't be under oath. Again, it is, against the law to lie to Congress, but putting him under oath takes it to that step level. The interesting part here is the Goldman issue. Dan Goldman coming out just a few minutes ago and saying, well, he just heard about this. I mean, this is coming from the same congressman who also, during the impeachment of Donald Trump, was talking about the phone call and talking about all the evidence they had piled up, which they had none. Goldman's, right here is, again, it's amazing. I mean, I guess he's being, helping the Biden administration here. But this is a problem when you see them coming out and trying to spin this because they don't want to know what's in the room.
Yeah, and I believe we do have a full screen of that tweet from Goldman. If we could bring that up so we could just get a look at exactly what he was saying. There we go. He says that Joe Biden spoke with Hunter's business partners, but they spoke about stuff like the weather, not business deals. Ameer? Thoughts, Ameer?
Sorry, I lost the audio for a second.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the fact that we have Democrats lawmakers saying that, yeah, sure, they talk, but they talk about, quote unquote, stuff like the weather.
Well, I think it's important that he conceded the fact that there were conversations between Hunter Biden on speakerphone with his father in front of business associates. The Democrats have been denying that all along. And don't forget, it wasn't too long ago that these allegations that Joe Biden participated in these conversations were soundly dismissed by the mainstream media and their allies as being Russian disinformation. And Karine Jean-Pierre now is taking a different position, saying, well, now Joe Biden wasn't involved in the business as opposed to participating in the phone calls. So there seems to be a shift now in the story. And Democrats, even those who are very, very much opposed to Donald Trump, can't really dispute the undisputable facts. And so for Dan Goldman to come out and to even acknowledge the fact that these conversations took place is, I think, a big movement in the direction towards implicating Hunter Biden and possibly Joe Biden in nefarious activities.
Yeah, I think wrapping this up, I think the biggest thing to take away from him is not being under oath. And then also you have this coming out and saying that now Democrats are going to have to answer about these actual incidents, because now, according to Joe Biden, he never talked to him really at all. Now we're actually seeing that this is putting him closer to Joe Biden. Joe Biden's got to answer this, but Democrats now have to answer this. And also, by the way, alert to the mainstream media, where are you on this? Let's see if they actually
I don't understand why they would agree to not being under oath, Doug.
Yeah,
Right.
That may be the only way they could get him there. Remember, he canceled 3 times, and right now Congress has to go to the DOJ to enforce
So
that.
you can come, you can lie. It's
Well,
okay.
I mean, you can't be able to lie, but again, you're facing a problem with DOJ is not following through with even if they went through with contempt right now, and that's a problem in our system.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for your expertise. Ameer Benno, thanks so much. Congressman Collins, thanks for putting your legal hat on with us as well. We'll see you in a minute.